I'm Carla Massoni. I own Massoni Art, and I live in Chestertown. I grew up in Annapolis, Maryland, and all of my life I thought I just lived on the Chesapeake Bay, and I never knew I lived on the Western Shore until I actually got here and found out there was this thing called the Western Shore. Surprised me. I just thought we lived on the Chesapeake Bay. And I grew up there, I went to school there, and then went to Washington and worked in my early years, and then came to Chestertown in 1985. There is a sensibility, and I'm not the first person to say it, and I won't be the last, but it literally is that Brigadoon feeling. You feel as though you have passed into a place that has a different quality than others do. It's the river, it's the people, it's the history. But it's even more than that. I think part of it for me has always been, I see in other people's eyes how much they love it here. And you connect to that. The way you connect to a person that's going to become your friend. You see something, and you know, I want more of that. I want to be connected to that. And that's the way Chestertown has always been for me. My husband and I bought the Imperial Hotel, which, as I say, the happiest day of my life was the day I bought it. The second happiest day was the day I got rid of it. I think everybody in the world has owned the Imperial Hotel at one point or another. But Al always stayed in Washington. His career was in Washington, so the Imperial days were they were a lot of fun in many respects, and again, a huge job. My hat goes off to anyone who owns a restaurant or runs a hotel. I think it's one of the hardest jobs in the world. What happened in terms of the first time I saw things change in Chestertown was that the business that we had in the wintertime was all the hunters. And we had a huge business in Chestertown with the hunting parties. Very sophisticated people. They came here in droves. They stayed in our hotel, they ate our food, they drank our wine, they shopped all over town. And this was a big market, a big winter market. And slowly that just, you know, disappeared. By the way, and Chris's The White Swan in the Imperial Hotel hosted the International Telecommunications Conference. We would go together and use our two properties and then use facilities at Washington College for meeting. I mean, there were many, many ways that you could cross-market, and I don't see that happening now.
Why is that?
Okay, this is where I kind of go into the visionary thing. I think that small towns need people of vision, and you need people who are willing to decide, well, I can do that. You know, let's go ahead and do that. And you don't let too many things get in your way. You're creative about how you might put a program together. Prime example, we had the Imperial Hotel, we had the White Swan. We were both small properties. In order to get some of the conference business that we felt was crucial, I mean crucial to success, would be to periodically handle a conference that might be 20 people or more. So this was a case where we had this project in Washington. I believe it was through the World Bank. We had students from Washington College who acted as our translators, Spanish and English. And these were not official translators, but they greeted people. We used the White Swan, we used the Imperial. Washington College opened up a conference room, and we signed a very important little piece of legislation by hosting it here in Chestertown. So, you know, you just sort of say, why not? Why can't I do that? And the beauty of a small town is that it's a little easier to pull that off because you can pick up the phone and call the president of the college and say, hey, how do you feel about doing this? You can call the owner of the White Swan and say, what do you think about this, Chris? Could we pull this off? We coordinated with Kevin and Barbara to do one set of meals. Our hotel did another set of meals. And, you know, you just made it happen. Now, I think that's the kind of thing that takes the businesses over the top. It's the cream, it's the mojo you talked about. You can't pull it off with just your local market. You actually can't even pull it off with the occasional tourist that wanders into town. You need to go out and find that other segment of the business and bring it to you. What worked 5 years ago isn't working now because everything around us has changed. The number of tourists coming into town may be stable, But if they're on a bus, or they're on a boat, or they're coming in a group where they've got an activity every minute, scheduled every minute, they're not shopping. They're not eating in our restaurants. And bottom line, that's the thing that makes the difference to a vibrant downtown. That's the thing that provides more revenues in terms of tax dollars. It's all interconnected. So I think tourism is down, and I don't see a will. I do see an understanding that tourism dollars are a huge economic engine in the state of Maryland. I think the state gets it. Not so sure the county gets it. Not so sure the local towns and communities get it, to the extent that we as business owners don't have the finances right now to invest in the infrastructure. Many of us don't have the luxury of thinking that they will still be running their businesses when they're 75. Right now we need as I called it earlier, the visionary. We need effective planning, effective ways of looking at growth, effective ways of looking at where our community is going to go. Some other aspect that is really looking at the long range of where do we want to be in 10 years, and what is realistic about being there in 10 years. Will the internet take over to the extent that shopping as we know it will shift yet again? I look at the successful stores downtown, and the ones that are really doing well to me are the ones providing additional services to the merchandise on their floor. So if you have a store that has interior decorating types of things, you're also providing interior decorating services. If you are Pride and Joy up the street, you're sponsoring activities nonstop for young mothers, or you're sponsoring other events. You're reaching out, you're trying to bring that customer in. But you can't be static. You've got to constantly be seeing, how am I going to reach out? How am I going to get new business in? And then sadly, we've been hit with a double whammy of we don't have the financial wherewithal, because the business is down right now, to invest more. Right now it's just hang on. So it's a real odd place I think we're in, and probably why I'm feeling a little pessimistic. I think we need to assess what our strengths are. I think we need to grow those strengths. I think we need to be forward-thinking about what are the businesses going to be 10 years from now, and begin to work towards those. And I think we need to, I wish that we had that core group of quote-unquote visionaries to sit around and do that kind of work. I absolutely hope and pray that the college will be able to pull off the development of the waterfront and include it as part of Washington College. Washington College is one of the reasons that Chestertown is so remarkable. Chestertown is one of the reasons that Washington College is so remarkable. We're together, period. And that, to me, will be a sea change in terms of where we're going to go as a community.